This is an African expat alert. Listen to me and listen to me well. It is getting harder to travel and live in Africa unless you choose ... There are a couple of core countries that I want to talk about today that are doing some very beast system like EES type changes that I'm seeing across the board. I'm seeing patterns, and you know, if you've been on this channel, that we see these patterns together. Do not forget, the European entry-exit system is now tied to more than just your fingerprints. It is saving your entire face in their database for at least 3 years. Apple is eventually going to save your passport, so your phone becomes the passport. And as if that wasn't enough, Africa is not getting out scot-free. We have 2 developments in Tanzania and South Africa. Let's begin with East Africa, Tanzania. Tanzania has added a $45 one-way international tax to all international passengers. They are saying right now, according to the aviator.co from Uganda, that it's not clear if it's also going to be for diasporan Tanzanians who could live in America or Sweden. And that's just one way. But if you have a round trip ticket, that's $90 additional tax added on per person in your family, that is added on when you book through Expedia, Kenyan Airlines, or whatever airline you're using. Now, there is also a small business clamp down. Now, this is horrible for any economy, okay? Because I happen to live in Mauritius, which is the #1 for doing business in Africa. And Rwanda comes in as a second, very close #2, being the Singapore of Africa for a reason. But get this. This clampdown is a new order prohibiting non-citizens from owning salons, retail facilities, or mobile money areas, with penalties for breaches. This targets the small entrepreneur space. Shout out to Dentons.co for telling us about that. Now, these are really strange developments because what we have happening in both Europe and Asia and even South America is the ease for small businesses to come in and do business together internationally and with local entrepreneurs, okay? The Netherlands, France, they make it very, very easy for Americans to come in and start a small business. Thailand, the Philippines. If you are in Asia, then you can attest to this and let the people down below know. But Rwanda as well, Mauritius, Seychelles, Madagascar, Botswana, all make it super easy for a small business to come in and develop the economy. So these are strange developments that need to be watched closely if you are an expat planning on living in Africa beyond just a couple of months or a year, okay? And as if that was not enough, let's go to South Africa, because this was quite frankly a little creepy. Now, if you did not hear, Albania, which is a country near the Balkans in Eastern Europe, very beautiful country. It's on the Mediterranean. They're the first country to have an AI political minister. And when they debuted it, the Albanians threw trash at the AI minister because they were like, this is crazy. We don't want an AI minister. But guess what? South Africa is rolling out an AI-powered e-travel authorization. ETA. Remember the EES system. Remember what Tanzania just implemented. These are all being rebranded. They're all the same thing, being rebranded across Europe, South Africa, and Tanzania as surveillance control systems with whatever kind of branding they want to use. So in South Africa, it is actually going to be an AI screen application to streamline entry. Expect mandatory pre-travel clearances for the vast majority of visitors. Now, how is the AI judging you? I don't know. Maybe if you're like a public figure, they scan your face and see your social media and they get to decide if they want you there. I'm not really sure, but I think it's an interesting coincidence how Europe rolled this out just recently. It goes into effect literally like in the next couple of days or mid-October. And then we see two African countries, South Africa and Tanzania, doing similarly branded policies for international travel. You can clearly see that travel to the continent is not how it used to be in 2019, 2020 when my family and I left. And I'm so grateful to have chosen the country that I chose in Africa by the grace of the Most High, because it is truly paying off when you see these policies changing. This is why it's so important for me to come on here and give you these worldwide expat alerts so that we as a community of believers, people that read the book of Revelations, people that are critical thinkers, people that are self-reliant, so that we can assess the risks in different areas and choose the right country for our family or for our lineage. Now, Namibia has some changes too. They're not as drastic as South Africa and Tanzania. It's simply the fact Namibia is no longer visa free for Americans. I understand the tit for tat. It is what it is. You now have to pay a $93 visa fee for Namibia. South Africa is visa free. Tanzania is a $100 visa. Understand with Tanzania, you're paying the $100 plus the $90 for the airplane tax per person, okay? This is why we always stress, and we don't know why no one else talks about this, but when it comes to Africa, it's going to be intricately more difficult and expensive to travel Africa than a Europe or a Asia. Asia was also colonized, especially Southeast Asia, but it's infinitely more difficult, okay? Unless you are located in the Southern Africa region, flying between like a South Africa, a Botswana, a Rwanda, a Mauritius, okay, even a Madagascar, you can kind of pinpoint your flights like that. But even when you're in West Africa, if you're in Burkina, it's going to be pricey to get to Ghana or Lagos. So this is why you have to plan appropriately and understand what's going on the global stage so that you can really assess and see, okay, what actually makes sense for my family? Because you do not just want to set your money on fire and throw it down the drain. That's just going to be a disaster. And oh my goodness, if you are making it to the 7-minute point in this video, I would absolutely love it if you hit the like button, especially if you have not heard this information. Subscribe if you're like, oh my goodness, I need to stay up to date. And go ahead and subscribe to the free expat Intel newsletter so that you can stay in tune with everything happening not only in Africa but across the world as an expat, as we keep eyes all over for digital nomad visas, retirement visas, visa-free countries, and places that make it easy for you to be a free thinker. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about some solution-focused countries that are in Africa, because I can't give you a problem without giving you as many solutions, okay? So Seychelles has a visa fee. It's about $10, 10 euros and 90 cents to apply for. It's actually technically visa-free, but this fee is a travel authorization, so to speak, okay? Seychelles, visa-free, $10 travel authorization that you have to pay. It is what it is. Kenya is visa-free for all African passports, like Rwanda and Burkina Faso. When we think Pan-Africanism, we need to see who's actually bearing the fruits of that word. So you look for countries that are allowing other Africans in, that are not being rude to other Africans. And then you also look at countries like Mauritius that actually invite Africans into their country and employ them no matter where they are from in Africa without them going missing like they do in Dubai or Saudi Arabia, okay? Everybody who is in Mauritius or has ever been to Mauritius knows that. I mean, we have met brothers and sisters that have been here from the continent since 2019, and it's just like, oh, this is just some hidden gem that us Americans don't know about, okay? But again, Kenya, they have some favorable visas. They also have their digital nomad visa, similar to Mauritius with the premium visa, okay? Mauritius's premium visa is a long stay, friendly visa for remote workers and retirees. We are on the premium visa. Absolutely love it. The process is super stupidly simple because they really care about their economy. money. They really care about keeping that top position as #1 to do business in Africa. Mauritius is visa free for Americans and most other nationalities, meaning you come to the border, you get scanned in, and that's it. That's it. It's not a whole bunch of extra stuff, not a whole bunch of extra visa fees and tax fees and this and that and this and that. It's none of that. It's just come in. Botswana is very similar. We know people, multiple people who currently live in Botswana have 5-year permits and have gotten their tourist visa fees when they first arrived, $30 for a single visa, $50 for a multiple entry visa. Residence permits from $165. Shout out to the BotswanaEmbassy.com for that, okay? And Rwanda, this one's like really like, they don't talk about it, but we talk about it in our bespoke program, White Glove Intensive, the State of the Diaspora. This is actually one of the countries that's on our list of the 5-in-1 best places in Africa to live in long term. Again, you know, on this channel, we are a large family. We have older adult parents. We have nieces and nephews. Like, we think so much differently than the average expat that is looking for culture and food and this. We don't care about none of that. We need safety, residency, and a risk assessment, period. That's it. And if that's the wavelength you're on, then you want to visit www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com. View our resources, view our services guide. We have everything that you need right there on the website, because you need to know about these things. And I don't know why nobody's telling you about the entire continent, but let's zoom over to West Africa really quick so that we can compare visas. Everybody's favorite right now, shout out to Captain Ibrahim Traore. Can everybody give a shout out to Captain Ibrahim Traore in the comments, because he is doing phenomenal, and I cannot wait till the day the Most High graces me and my family with the ability to go visit Burkina. If you're in Burkina, say hey to your Journey With Us fam, because it's just like the African Renaissance, the entire Sahel region. So Burkina Faso has e-visa options that exist. They have both short stay and multiple entry visa pricings, okay? They range from like $100 to $165 for a 5-year multiple entry visa, on top of the fact that they say they are giving citizenship soon. They say that they are giving the diaspora, if you were of African descent and can prove it and have come through the slave trade, not that you're a continental African from Kenya or Rwanda or Congo, but that you were in the transatlantic slave trade and they want you to return. Togo is doing something similar, and Senegal, which we talk about consistently in some of our programs as well, Senegal is also visa free for 90 days. We can't sleep on this, family. Don't sleep on visa free, because that money that you're not spending on a visa can be put to some gold or some silver or some crypto or some XRP or some stock, some AVGO. Like, you can do wise things with your resources. Even rich people will itemize their money down and they will dress as if they have no money. You're not going to know a rich person is rich, because that money is in the market somewhere, okay? And can we zoom back over real quick? We got to fly from West Africa to Southern Africa again, Zambia. Zambia is a country that we have had the privilege of spending about a week or so in. It was phenomenal. It was very rainy, but it was still enjoyable. The people were very nice. It was during C19, y'all. We have so many stories. I'll have to just like come back and do like a bunch of story times, because obviously when you travel, especially in Africa, you get so many stories. But it was an enjoyable time for our family. Back then we had 3 children and I was pregnant at the time, and they had super low visa freeze, and back then they let our children get in visa free, okay? $25 for a single visa, $40 for double, and then $50 for the Casa Una Visa visa. This is from Zambia's immigration.gov.zm resident/pricing page, okay? This is from the source itself. Zambia is one of those places that has very good visas on arrival. And that's something that's so important because that's going to dictate to you and show you usually how foreigners are going to be treated. I promise you, from my experience, that's typically what it's like. Now, I do want to compare these in Africa to Europe and Asia because Africa wants to compete on a global stage. So we have to be honest and look at other areas of the world to get an idea of what it's currently like. Europe, the Schengen zone. You can get a short stay visa there for $90 for adults since June 11th, 2024. Processing rigor remains high. Appointments can be a bottleneck, and then you add into the fact that they have the entry-exit system. So some of these African visas are more advantageous than the Schengen zone, although the Schengen zone has great digital nomad visas and freelancer permits that are very favorable. I look forward to the day where more countries copy off of a Mauritius or a Rwanda and have these great temporary residence permits, these great freelancer permits, because that's the way the world is going. In the age of AI, you're going to see a decrease in people that are actually working a W-2 job across all sectors and all industry. You're only going to see business owners, okay? And just so you know, let me give you some free information real quick. If you are a business owner, you need to get your online kit from swiftfilings.com, SWYFT. If you want to be approved for a digital nomad visa or a self-employed visa, not self-employed, self-employed. If you want to be approved, you need to have your online business kit from Swift Filings, your golden certificate showing that you do business in the state that you're from. We cover these things in our one-to-one consultations. We are all about the paperwork, all about knowing your powers of attorneys, all about knowing your VPNs, all about knowing your options, because there are things you have to do before leaving America to secure your life abroad. If you try to do it abroad, you're going to run into a mega earthquake headache, okay? I'm not even playing with you. Now, let's fly on out of Europe and let's go over to Asia because the Thailand DTV visa has been getting a lot of popularity. And you know we're digital nomads. I speak in the digital nomad space. I'll leave a podcast down below when I spoke with the executive founder of Plumia and Safety Wing, which is nomadic health insurance. If you didn't know, I'll drop the link to that as well. But I've been in this space for years. Y'all know I've been in business for 9 going on 10 years this April. And I think it's so beautiful to see that so many countries have digital nomad visas across South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. So the Destination Thailand visa has a fee of $270 plus proof of funds. You prove that you have about $15,000 in the bank. You either work a W-2 or you're self-employed. You get a 5-year multiple entry visa. You leave every 6 months or extend and stay the full year and then exit. Philippines allows U.S. citizens, again, to come in visa-free for 30 days. Policies are expanding visa-free access for some other nationalities as well because India, shout out to India, that's cool. They recently gained limited visa-free entry to the Philippines as well because India is the eye in BRICS. They are picking up as a world superpower, okay? So we went to the Philippines embassy and the Thai Royal Embassy to get this information. Now let's keep rolling. Africa has route-specific surcharges like Tanzania's new $45 to $90 PAX tax, which directly lifts ticket prices. Europe and Asia rely more on long-standing airport aviation duties, and Schengen states don't have a single tax to travel, okay? But airports and carriers add their own fees anyway through an automatic tax that they include, okay? And then Tanzanian-bound fares just got mechanically higher by $45 to $90 per person versus the last month. So if you're paying attention, the writing is on the wall. Choose the right country in Africa or else. Know when to maneuver. Understand that nothing in this world is permanent. You do not own the earth. You do not own your children. You do not even own your spouse. Understand that you are a pilgrim in the earth. Nothing on this world is owed to you. Nothing is permanent. So have the wisdom and understanding to assess your risk factors and see, does this still make sense for my legacy and lineage in the long haul? Is this still written in my book of life from the Most High? Or is he leading me in a different direction? What is the plan he has for me? That is the key. Isaiah 22:22, you will get the key of the shoulder of the house of David, and he will open doors no man can shut, and he will shut doors that no man can open. John 10:19 says that you will come to Yahusha. He is the only key, the only doorway, and you will find pasture and going out and coming in. Okay? These are the spiritual keys that you need to be tapped into as a traveler, aside from all of the logistical stuff that we cover on this channel, okay? So, some African countries are opening up. Burkina Faso, Togo, a lot of these countries are opening up. Mauritius, Seychelles, Botswana, Rwanda. Again, shout out to Rwanda. The Singapore of Africa. If you know a little bit about Singapore's history, like I went into, it's really fascinating. And the fact that they say Rwanda is the Singapore of Africa is just like, it's such a good feeling. It's really giving like the African Renaissance over here, okay? But listen, I want you to choose ecosystems that match your future, not just right now. Understand that stuff changes. Understand that if you are new to travel, it behooves you to get in touch with people who are either in a place that you would like to be, or they have gone through a lot. We've given birth to 2 children while on the continent, 2 different cities. We have done most things on the continent that most people never even think of. We have sold property in America from the continent of Africa without going back. There is paperwork, there are legal networks that you can get in while in America. All this stuff is done while you are in America. You have your family, your friends that are helping you on that side, and then you can just get things initiated, especially the way that America's small business system works. It makes it really, really easy for you to make things shake over there so that you can come into a country like Mauritius and get a premium digital nomad visa. Or you could go to a country like Rwanda and get a consulting visa. You could go to a country like Botswana and get a 5-year visa for your education consulting. There are options out there, but the key is to know what's for you and what's not for you. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video. Have a blessed day.